I'm in the world, but not of it. I praise God every day and I love it. I say what I want and I say what they want. I stand for the truth and what's right and they don't. Life is simple, it's no puzzle. Common sense will tell you not to wear a muzzle. Fear no evil, trust no people. When in doubt, shout, I'm a believer. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me.
I offend everybody, the left, right, in the middle. Blame my parents because I've been this way since I was little. It used to be normal, now everybody praying to crystals. No wonder why it's so easy for the devil to trick you. They treat you like dogs, pitting muzzles all on your faces, forcing kids to wear them in schools. Doesn't this seem outrageous? They ban Bible scriptures on TikTok.
Let's go to Target! Let's go to Target! Get some PlayStations! Let's go to Target!
What up? Before we get started, here's our Pride Month song of the month, Demon Month 3. We're on the 3rd out of 3, I think. Happy Pride Month, Demon Month.
You're not gay, it's a demon that's inside of you. You ain't born that way, don't let it try to lie to you. I rebuke demons up by faith, hope you find the truth. I'm exposing these demons that try to hide in you. Pride stands for the land of the pigs, where they like to be trans and start playing with some kids. That bathroom's for girls, so we can't let you in. Steve, you ain't fooling no one.
You're just a man in a wig.
You're not gay,
More like insane.
Being gay is fun and dandy till you get
AIDS.
I just speak the truth and I don't care about gay rights. I can tell the left is mad cause my dad raised me right. You think you a woman cause you rockin' the stiletto. Don't make me get my airsoft.
I'm knocking off a pedo.
All y'all gonna be burning like the rich man. You are not a woman, just a dude with some implants.
We don't rock with Demon Month. The only Christian rapper steady calling out the demons, huh? Down in hell it won't be demon fun. Jesus come and make you heathens run. You don't rock with Demon Month. Never, I don't rock with Demon Month. Nah, real man and God don't rock with Demon Month. You ain't playing God, you never be the one, but when he come, you gon' see that
He don't rock with Demon Month.
If you don't repent, cause God don't play your evil games. I'm born again, you demon, we are not even the same. I point my kids to Jesus and you point them to the grave. I just want them to be free, but you just want them as a slave. You ain't brave cause you came out of that closet. We just trying to stuff you back inside, you just a product of propaganda. You are not Amanda, you are Steve, it's automatic. I will not abandon my beliefs cause I'm a Christian and you know that I'ma stand upon that Bible. I'm ripping every gay flag that I see cause it's an idol. You're a man and you think you're getting cramps and taking Midol? You are not a she, her, you just want that title. And to every Christian rapper silent shaking in their boots, we know that you cowards love the fame more than the truth. I got the proof, it's almost like that you don't want them to be free. You made 100 songs and still ain't called out the LGBT. Holy smokes, we don't rock with Demon Month.
The only Christian rapper steady calling out the demons, huh?
Down in hell it won't be demon fun. Jesus come and make you heathens run.
He don't rock with Demon Month.
Never,
I don't rock with Demon Month. Real men, the God don't rock with Demon Month.
You ain't playing God, you never be the one, but when he come, you gon' see that he don't rock with Demon Month.
Somebody tell these Peter Puffers it's Yeshua's season. You call it Pride Month, I say it's a month for demons. Go to Mark 5 so you can see what I'm reading. Who else called themselves a they them? That was Legion. Go
Who else called themselves a they them? That was Legion.
If you don't want a wicked, then you enable the heathens. These homosexuals, they won't make it into the kingdom. Romans 1:26, they gon' say Paul was preaching. Bryson, are you transphobic? I'm telling them yes. You not a transgender, you just a man in a dress. Look at Chris Tyson, now his whole family's a mess. Repent because I know the one that can cancel a debt. And you're clearly not a woman, it's easy to tell. Look at Bruce Jenner, a child can see that he is a male. And don't get mad, but Blair White has a demon as well. You say I mean because I'm not trying to lead them to hell.
We don't rock with Demon Month. The
All right. It's almost over. This has been the most hetero. That's what it is. This has been the most hetero demon month. This has been the most hetero pride month in history. Well, at least since this gay crap started. I'm sure in the past that every June was pretty hetero, back in the 50s and everything before then. But once we started getting this weird stuff, we've had a lot of gay Junes. A lot of gay Junes. Did you? Yeah, I talked about Oliver Tree last week. All right. What do I got for this week, though? I don't even know. I don't watch soccer. I think it's a girl sport. But, hey, what's up, Shane? I saw it rain ash down here. We're going to talk about that. World Cup dates. I don't care about soccer. It's a girl sport. But the whole world's talking about it. Everybody's watching it. Apparently it's popular or something. I think the World Cup gets more. I think the world record YouTube stream was a World Cup stream with most viewers concurrent. And I think the World Cup gets more viewers than the Super Bowl, like by far. So soccer, in the rest of the world, they call it football, which makes sense because you actually use your feet. In America, we call football, but we don't use our feet in football. Well, you kick the ball sometimes, but for the most part, you're handballing. You're touching the ball. You're throwing the ball and catching the ball. Handball. Holding the ball. You rarely touch it with your feet. But that's football. Soccer. So I'm going to look at some World Cup updates. I have a bunch of sites here. I'm not going to go through all of them. But then we're going to talk about Muslim grooming gangs. Let's get the stream shut down in the first 5 minutes. We're going to talk about the inquiry that came out. We looked at it all weekend, but I've gathered some articles about it. Some of the crazy stories in it. And a debunk. Yahoo is debunking it. Yahoo's saying it's not real. So, we're fair here. We'll see what the naysayers are naysaying. And then while the grooming gang inquiry report is coming out and we're finding out that there's 250,000 groomed women in Europe, the reflecting pool is got algae and paint peeling off of it. That's what liberal Americas are focused on. So we'll look at the reflecting pool problem. But that's kind of tongue in cheek. That's like a joke. Like, oh my God, they always care about the rose gardens getting damaged. Oh, he's building a ballroom. Trump needs a lot of ballroom. All right, extra big balls. Need extra big ballroom. While the whole world is burning, liberals will focus on freaking he's repainting the hallway, and they'll lose their minds about it. Now he's changing the reflecting pool, but they said it's something like $16,000 or 16, I don't know, some crazy amount of money to fix it, and it's not working out good. So maybe I agree that it has been a waste of money. But he wants to leave it looking nicer than when he came. And then the nationwide fires. We got big fires all over the West. Fires. Lots of fire. It's hot. It's hot in the West. Fires. We got fires. Utah. I think I said this when I came back to the stream. When I went to my store run at the end at like 7 a.m. Sunday. I was streaming. I had been streaming all night Saturday, and I went on a store run at like 7 or 8 a.m. And yeah, it was bad then. When I walked outside, it was smoke everywhere. And I could see it coming off, the smoke billowing up off the mountain out behind the university. And then I came home, and I think I forgot to look at the news. I was like, when I get home and get back on stream, I'm going to look at the news and see where the fire's at, because we got a big fire. And I never did it. I totally forgot to even mention it when I got back to the stream. I don't know what they were talking about, but it distracted me and I forgot. But that fire was a big fire here in Utah. We had a big fire here in Utah, pretty close to where I am. Like I could see it right up on that mountain over there. Bonneville fire. And in LA, they've been having a warehouse burn for 5 days straight. I don't even know how a freaking warehouse burns for 5 days straight. Even if you don't interact with it, how does it burn for 5 days straight? And if you do interact with it, like, I don't know, water, why is it not going out yet? They just let that shit burn in LA. So fires all over the West. Which isn't too crazy for this time of the year, but it seems like there's a lot right now. Anyway, that's the plan. Oh, and then at the end of the show, whatever time I have left, we're going to deep dive the G7. The G7 summit. We're going to see what happened at the G7. Russia-Ukraine talks. Iran talk. I thought it's supposed to be the richest and most powerful people in the world get together and figure out how to make the world better. All they ever do is war games. All they do is ever plan wars. Ask that coal mining town that is still burning. Ask that. Is there a coal mining town that's burning? I don't know, but there's fires everywhere. So that's what we're going to talk about. We'll start with this World Cup dates. The World Cup dates! By the way. World Cup dates! By the way, guys, this is the Dreaded Conservative Show. Monday night, kicking the week off right. As always. And this show is funded by viewers like you. So hit the like button because it's free. Do it because it's free. And when you hit the like button on all my streams, it'll make sure my streams are always in your feed. You know? Subscribe. And let's finish that dono bar off. Dang. That one's creeping through there. All right. Enough of that. Oh man, Google had like a recap. Let me try this again. Live updates. Mbappe puts France ahead 2-0 in Iraq. France is beating Iraq in soccer. Is that impressive? Do Iraqis play soccer? Centralia, PA. Oh, that's not even in the West. That's in the East. Huh. I did not see about that one. I'll look it up. What's ESPN talking about? Look, I just got these shoes. I don't know why they're showing them to me. These are the Air Force One Floridas. The Florida Boy edition. Anyway, Men's World Cup scoreboard. France beat Iraq. Norway and Senegal 0-0. Dude, I can't watch a 3 or 4 hour game where there's only 2 to 4 points scored. That's why I don't like hockey. But hockey, you got fighting in the middle. So it makes it okay. And it's not a huge freaking arena. Hockey is a pretty compact rink. And so there's always action going on. And it's a little tiny goalie with a little tiny puck. And you got to get that bitch in there. So hockey, I get it. Why they only score each team, there'll only be 3 points scored in the game. But they're beating each other's ass the whole time, so I get it. But soccer, y'all are just most of the game, most of the people playing are just like running in circles. Like not even fast running, just like jogging around in circles. Back and forth. Oh, I touched the ball for 3 seconds and I kicked it away. Oh, I touched the ball for a second, kick it away. Dude, I don't get it. I guess this segment, the World Cup date segment, is just where I'm gonna rag on soccer for like 15 minutes. I guess that's what we're doing. I think that's what's gonna happen because I can't. I really don't care about the scores. Is America winning? If America's winning, that's cool. I'm kind of the same way with all sports, though. I don't really care about sports except for fighting. Unless my hometown is doing good. If the Bucks are doing good, or the Rays are Tampa Bay's doing good, Orlando Magic's doing good. Shoot, I'll even get down with the Jaguars and the Miami Heat. I'm from Florida. We got a lot of teams. So I like that. Any sport where my home team's doing good, I like that. But I don't even see America. Where's the America scores? Gamecast. This says Gamecast. Bro, they got Dreamcast and they got GameCube. They ain't got Gamecast. Man, I said I got Gamecast. They got Gamecast.
2026.
Here, let's let these people tell me what's going on in the World Cup. Tell us about it. Fox Weekend Live News people. Also, you're in a professional studio. Why do you have this big-ass bulky DJI mic on your mic clip?
World Cup delivering a lot of big moments. I mean, we're still riding high from the back-to-back win from the U.S. men's team.
Let's
There are
go
all
Bucks.
kinds of
That's what I'm
viral
saying.
Moments. I don't know if you've seen the videos of Japan's men's team leaving the fields, the locker rooms clean as you can imagine. So Matt Bakovic.
Oh, yes. The Japanese are very honorable.
From American University joining us live this morning to discuss all of the big moments happening in the World Cup. Hello.
Hello.
Good to see you as well. Are you tired of talking about the World Cup or are you still loving it?
Not at all. This comes
Okay.
around once every 4 years. This is a mega event, so I'll
It comes every 4 years. So it's like soccer Olympics.
talk about this all day and night. It's a great time.
Perfect. I agree. It's all so
No, it's not. It's soccer. It's not that cool.
exciting to see, and there's just so many moments. Let's start with Japan. Have you seen the viral videos of them leaving the locker room so incredibly clean? It's just incredible.
Absolutely. You know, this is a perfect example of the fact the World Cup is bigger than what goes on the field. And it's a great highlight of tradition. You know, that is a traditional act that the Japanese team is used to doing. They do it multiple times, and it just shows that, yes, we are focused on what's on the pitch, what's on the field, what's on...
This guy's their Pride Month DEI hire. Yes, there's white DEI men hires too. The gay guys. The guys that come on just for Pride Month to talk about soccer, the gayest sport happening in Pride Month. That's actually, remember I said this was the most hetero Pride Month in the past 10 years? Well, the World Cup, you know, it gays it up a bit.
on whatever surface you're going to call it, but it also shows the culture that comes here, and it provides the non-fan of, you know, the Japanese team or the casual fan with an insight into that world. So it's been great to see that.
I so agree. Even if you're not into the athletics of it all, seeing moments like
Where's my producer? Who picked this clip? Producer, what is this? Did you even watch this clip before you put it in the folder? It's just a gay guy and a woman prattling about soccer. What is this clip?
that still pulls you into all of the fanfare of it. Are there any other sort of
Shut up.
An entire
When was your first soccer game? Do you remember what ice cream you were eating? Wow. Thanks, Steve.
watch party stand silent right before a goal and then watching the eruption has been fantastic.
I know.
And it's great to have that 10-second delay because we know it's coming. We see the live camera feed. And it's just a collective moment of joy amongst thousands and thousands of people. And in 2026, we need more of those.
Wait, you know that the points are coming because of time travel? What? That ruins it for me. I swear, if I'm watching a fight and you start cheering 10 seconds before a knockout and I haven't seen it yet, that doesn't get me more excited because I know it's coming. That pisses me off.
I completely agree, Matt. Completely agree with that. And speaking of, I mean, again, we're all still so excited about the run that the U.S. men's team has had so far. We're now coming off of the 2-0 win with Australia after the 4-1 win against Paraguay. So what are your takeaways and what are your thoughts about the team and their performance so far?
Well, Team USA did the first thing that we hoped they would do. They took care of business. There was an expectation.
Period.
Taking care of business. Did we win? How many games have we played? Why don't I just pull up how is the U.S. doing in the World Cup? How is the U.S. doing in the World Cup right now? Right now, that would be redundant. The U.S. men's national team has already clinched a spot in the knockout rounds and guaranteed a top finish in Group D for these nuts. Under manager Mauricio Pochettino, the Americans won their first 2 group stage games, defeating Paraguay and Australia. That's why Jake Rattlesnake was so mad the other day. He was streaming the USA Australia game, and he did not seem content. Because I think Australia got whooped.
They would get out of the the group stage. There was
So U.S. has 2 wins out of 2 games right now. We're 2-2, 2-0, 2-2, 2-0. Nice. In Group D, and then what? The winners of how many groups are there? There's a lot of groups.
They would win the group stage. They did that, and they did it without drama. It wasn't a come from behind win. It wasn't a win with a lot of substitutions. It wasn't a win where we were concerned. We watched them go out on the pitch. We watched them succeed, and that was great. And you had a nice combination of youth and experience. There's 13 players that have World Cup experience, 13 players that don't, but a combined total of 504 what we call international or high-level games. So it's a nice combination. That
2-0, we won the group.
Good athleticism.
We're talking about the gayest sport ever right now, the Dark Side Deacons.
And it's going to lead up to a really good, exciting knockout stage.
Okay, and speaking of, yes, the U.S. is heading to San Fran July 1st for the round of 32. What can we expect as far as possible opponents in the knockouts?
Bosnia right now is...
Bosnia?
The 50% chance of the team that's going...
This is crazy to hear, like, we're playing sports against freaking Iraq and Bosnia. Is Iran in the World Cup? Dude, that'd be crazy. In the middle of a war, you're playing a country in the World Cup. I'm sure that's happened. I think they make movies about that where it's like the countries are struggling, but the World Cup brings us together.
Going to be playing the United States. However, that's all going to come down to...
All right, this is kind of boring. Wrestling? Wrestling is not gay, Auntie. No. Just because men get oiled up and rub their half-naked bodies all over each other does not make it gayer than soccer, okay? All right? Calm down. Wrestling is a combat sport. I'm talking about real wrestling, not WWE wrestling. And even WWE wrestling is not less gay. It's not more gay. Yes, it is. Yeah, everybody agrees. What? Wrestling is not more gay than soccer. What are you talking about? It's a combat sport. Y'all just never wrestled anybody before. I mean, you've never been in a fight before. That movie sounds lame. Yeah, that would be a lame movie. Okay. All right. UFC has wrestling in it. What are you talking about? That's not gay. More FIFA Cup stuff. Somebody asked me if I played the FIFA video game. No. What? No. I don't play the FIFA video game. You know, the only soccer game I ever played was FIFA Street. It was like NBA Street. It was like FIFA Street. You'd be playing in like the back alleys and stuff. And you could do crazy tricks and like juggle the balls. Pause. Gay sport. Ball juggling. Okay. You could do like bicycle kicks where you catch on fire and you're like, that was pretty cool. That game was pretty cool. Probably trash at it. No, I was freaking awesome at it. God. Messi leads Adidas Golden Boot Race. What the heck is that? Is this Messi? Who was asking me, is Messi the best in the world? No, somebody said was Ronaldo the best in the world. I don't know. Why do I know these soccer games names? Only 3 soccer players' names I know are Messi, Ronaldo, and Beckett. Bend it like Beckham. David Beckham. That guy. It's the only soccer players I know. Anyway, enough on the soccer stuff. Let's move from a sport that brings us all together and unites us with joy and love. Let's move on to rape gangs. There's a segue for you. Okay, YouTube. This is for news and commentary purposes. So, now listen, guys. We cannot go. Hold on. First things first. This is the independent inquiry into grooming gangs. A group in over in the England made this. And it's tied in with this group, the Rape Crisis England and Wales, on the inquiry report, their comments on the inquiry report. We need better data, blah, blah, blah. There's been political failures, and political framing is bad because basically if you call this out, you're racist, which is crazy because that's what I was going to say. We can't jump to conclusions, guys. This grooming gang inquiry report is not racist. We cannot just assume that this is a bunch of Muslims doing this. This has nothing to do with Islam, guys. All right? I want to say that first and foremost. This grooming gang inquiry has nothing to do with Islam. All right? That's first off. But secondly, it's racist to talk about it. That's what the left is saying. They're saying this report cannot be tied to Muslims. It has nothing to do with Muslims. But if you bring it up and you talk about the grooming gangs, you're racist. You're an Islamophobe. You're racist towards Muslims. If you talk about the grooming gangs, you're racist towards Muslims. But the grooming gangs have nothing to do with Muslims, guys. That's what we're being told. Misogyny now, but I still don't like this language. When you push this language that we have a rape culture, this was popular in colleges and stuff in the past. The rape culture. I thought we killed this, but I mean, in Europe, they probably do have this. Survivors of child rape. I'm gonna say child rape. I'm not going to speak in TikTok language. This is for news and education purposes. We're covering information in the world. It's a hot button issue. You know, I'm not going to censor my language. It's a serious topic. Survivors of child rape, sexual abuse, and exploitation. CRASA. God, they got acronyms for everything. Child rape and sexual abuse. CRASA. Report having their traumatic experiences dismissed and being blamed, criminalized, or framed as somehow complicit in their own victimization with such alarming frequency that many never disclose again. When they do come forward, it is of utmost importance that they are heard, believed, and supported by people they can trust and who will not distort or conceal the truth any further. Men from every culture and religion organize, cooperate, and share resources to get sexually abused by women. Oh, I mean, to sexually abuse women and girls. This happens within care homes, children's homes, armies, virtually all organized religions, and a huge number of online communities. The most obvious characteristic of abusers is not race, religion, or class. It's sex. Whilst the rape gang inquiry report is new, the phenomena of men behaving in this way is not. Guys, the grooming gang inquiry report is not about Muslims. It's not about race. It's about men. Men are evil rapists. And you're an evil racist if you say anything about Muslims in relation to this inquiry. I think this is the point that a lot of guys are missing is flying under the weather. They're not talking about Muslims. They're talking about men. It is about Muslims. We all know that. But the narrative is that men are just rapists. If you talk about Muslims in relation to the grooming gang inquiry, you're an Islamophobic racist. It's not about Muslims. It's about men. Men are all rapists and racists and homophobics and bigots. But anyway, I'm not going to go through this whole thing. We went through a bunch of it. I was in the background. I was reading through it the other night. Usually when there's these big PDF drops, it's funny. PDF drop like it's actually a PDF, but PDF is also slang that we use for pedos. So it's a PDF file. PDF. It's a PDF file. It's a PDF. I'm not going to read the whole thing because a lot of it is just, letters from Secretary Baroness. She's the one that was trying to get this pushed through. But then when you get to the independent inquiries and the letters and whatnot. But look, they mentioned race right here. Disproportionate numbers of men from Asian ethnic backgrounds were among the suspects. Some weird Chinese guys and Muslims. Middle Eastern is part of Asia. Some weird Ruskies. So it does mention race. We must root out this evil once and for all. The sickening acts of a minority of evil men, as well as those in positions of authority who look the other way, must not be allowed to marginalize or demonize entire communities of law-abiding citizens. We can only demonize the men. What is required now is a moment of reckoning. Anyway, so I think I might have some highlights from that. Terry Newman, UK grooming gang report details find horrific child exploitation. Hold on, let this ad play and then we'll listen to this. The rape game inquiry report chaired by British MP Rupert Lowe and led by survivor Sammy Woodhouse. She's been doing a lot of interviews. We watched a bit of one with Michael Knowles the other day. Exposes the systematic, not systemic. Those are different things. Grooming and sexual exploitation of vulnerable, overwhelmingly white British girls by predominantly Muslim Pakistani gangs in towns and cities throughout UK. Wait, that's racist. I thought it was just about men. Now I'm confused. Is it about Muslims or is it just men are evil?
Did you hear? We shouldn't build pipelines because they lead to violence against women. This week in Ottawa, climate activist Victoria Romero testified before the Senate Standing Committee on Energy, the Environment, and Natural Resources. Here's what she told the senators.
Violence against nature and the climate are inseparable from violence against humans. The final report of the National Inquiry on Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls identified direct links.
Damn. So when I was doing tree trimming, I was like an axe murderer. Could you imagine just walking around chopping people's fingers off and their arms, take a leg out here and there with a chainsaw or an axe or a hatchet, just walking around. Oh, hold on, your arm's a little long. Sorry, I'm an arborist.
Links between resource extraction projects like oil pipelines and violence towards indigenous
What does this have to do with
and Two-Spirit?
Romero then suggests this report is a reason why Alberta's MOU should not be sanctioned. Her recommendation?
If we cannot immediately...
Is this relevant? Is she going to start talking about the grooming gangs or what?
Immediately end all new oil and gas extraction in Canada, we must at least end subsidies to the industry costing us billions of taxpayer dollars.
But here's the thing. The report doesn't call for shutting down new Canadian energy projects. The report calls for better safety planning and consultation.
I don't know what this has to do with the topic at hand. Okay. A 219-page report was released on June 16th. A crowdfunding campaign raised £794,677. That's heavy. Just kidding. That's money. That's British money. They call it our measurement of weight. It's weird. It's very weird. From over 20,000 concerned Britons, in order to produce it. The report recounts the stories of girls who were systematically groomed by gangs when they were as young as 11. Testimonies are not for the faint of heart. Young girls were befriended, plied with alcohol and drugs, often taken from schools and care homes and subjected to repeated rape, gang rape, trafficking, and torture. Some were filmed so they could be blackmailed and told they were white trash. Those who became pregnant due to the rapes endured miscarriages, forced abortions, or gave birth to children who were taken by the state. Wait, so the state is taking these kids, but they don't know that the kid is a child of this grooming gang rape? When the state is taken by the kids, like out of the hospital, or how do they give them up for adoption? Taken by the means not given up for adoption. They're coming and taking the kids. So wasn't the girl reporting on what happened then? They don't look into it. It takes an independent inquiry to look into this. Yes, Josh, because for the past 20 years that people have been talking about this, they've been getting banned on social media. Some have gone to jail for tweets they've made in relation to this. Yeah, you're told you're a racist and you're crazy. You're not allowed to say that. In the England, you get banned from going to the England. If you talk about the grooming gangs, I say Muslim grooming gangs. But I'm racist, so, what can you do? We know one thing. They're men grooming gangs. British pound thing. I know, it is weird. They're weird. Some were filmed. I already read that. Before Woodhouse became... Look, I got those shoes the other day, too. I don't know why they're showing me them. Before Woodhouse became a whistleblower who helped expose the abuse of over 1,400 girls in Rotherham, England, through an anonymous interview with the Times in 2013. She had to do this anonymous in 2013. She was groomed at age 14. We've known about this since 2013. By Arseed Hussain, then 24, the ringleader of a Pakistani heritage child exploitation game. Report details the failure of numerous institutions to protect these girls, including the police, social services, the National Health Services, and schools. Perhaps worse, it suggests that whistleblowers who tried to report these rapists were sometimes accused of racism and Islamophobia. What the? The report lays the ultimate blame on the state for allowing... They should have just said, I don't know his race, but he was a man. Then they would have been like, oh, get him. We have to stop the patriarchy. It suggests that British and Scottish political parties were afraid of being accused of racism or losing political support from certain demographics, and that these fears took precedence over the protection of British children. According to this inquiry, by the way, there's 250,000 girls who were affected by this. I don't know to what degree, but it points to a lack of political will as the cause of the decades-long failure of the state and its institutions to deal with these grooming gangs, noting that the Labor Party first flat out refused to launch a public inquiry and only later conceded under considerable pressure. The report also acknowledges that an official government inquiry into grooming gangs has recently been launched, but suggests it will take too long and expresses concern that there is no guarantee that it will adequately address the politically sensitive ethno-religious nature of the phenomenon. That's a bunch of fancy gobbledygook language that means we're scared to do it because we don't want to be called racist. That's what that means. Fact check. Fact check. What did I say? 250,000? Hold on. Fact check. Yahoo's going to tell me I'm wrong real quick. Is the number of girls raped in the United Kingdom by grooming gangs definitely documented to be 250,000? No, that's not true. Let's read about how it's probably pretty true, but not really 100% true because we don't know. The figure is an extrapolation using an unclear methodology based on data from smaller communities with headline-grabbing scandals and is not an actual count of rape cases across the United Kingdom. Well, it's not supposed to be a count of all rape cases across the United Kingdom. It's supposed to be a count of the rape gang, grooming gang inquiry. It's not doing an inquiry into every woman raped in the UK. A 2022 independent inquiry into child sexual abuse said it is simply not possible to know the scale of child exploitation by networks. So it could be 250,000. It could be way more. We just don't know the number. Okay, thanks, Yahoo. Thanks for the fact check. Wow.
A new inquiry into the grooming gangs of Britain indicates that the level of this practice may be far greater than any of us had thought. Grooming gangs, they're called rather euphemistically because what we're talking about.
I don't know. Asian? I guess if you want to call that Asian, most of them were of Asian descent, is what that one article said. Yeah, if you want to call this Asian descent, sure, yeah. Iraq and Iran are in Asia. Pakistan is Asian. These poor Asian people are like, damn it, I thought we were white passing. Why are they calling the Muzzies Asian?
Abduction and rape of minor white British girls, mainly by Pakistani adult men. This is a practice that has continued for long. It has been indulged too long by the government, particularly by the Labour government in Westminster and by Labour government in local council areas where this practice has been going on at a very high incidence.
But remember, Yahoo says fact check false. We don't actually know the number is 250,000. It could be 1 million.
The fact now is that this report suggests that the number of white British girls who have been raped by Pakistani men could be as high as about 250,000. And
yeah, see, why did that one article say Asians? Asian men. This article says that it's not about race, it's just men. Men are evil. And then one calls them Asian. They're Pakistani. Come on, we know what this is.
The report suggests, in fact, that the number could be higher. The report quotes a senior imam from Oxford as saying that 95% of the men involved are Pakistanis. This now is a report that paints an...
Whoa. That's Islamophobic. They're Asian men. Let's just drop the Asian because that's kind of xenophobic as well. They're men.
Alarming picture, but the estimate does appear credible enough. As we have reported before, in just Rotherham, which is a small town in the north of England, 1,400 cases were reported. In Telford, which is even smaller, 1,000 cases were reported, bearing in mind that most such cases never are reported, given the nature of the crime and the nature of the offense.
Wait, 1,000 cases are reported. Bear in mind that most of these cases are never reported. Huh?
And the circumstances around it all, and certainly the fear among young girls to report such offences. The fact that is now being highlighted is that the Labour Party is particularly indulging this practice at the local level. A number of the areas where this incidence has been high are areas where a lot of Labour members are in councils. They have been elected to the councils, they are in the administration, and they have been protective of the perpetrators, and some of them in fact have been perpetrators.
Look at these guys looking like a bunch of criminals. They've been protective of them,
themselves,
the Labour
as
Party.
this report points out. Also, at the centre at Westminster, there was a demand for an inquiry into this, and Keir Starmer turned down that demand and got his MPs to vote against it.
By the way, Keir Starmer has stepped down, possibly because of this. After 2 years, I have that in rapid fire news coming up.
Following that, an inquiry has been ordered, but this was under pressure, and the terms of that inquiry are limited. There is a strong electoral pressure upon Labour from the Pakistanis, and the Pakistanis are continuing to
See, this report, this inquiry on the grooming gangs is a independent inquiry, but now they're demanding do an official one. Then you don't like ours, do a real one, but they won't
inhibit and deny any sort of movement towards effective justice in these instances.
They need to just run with the blame the men narrative. Even if they know that they're lying, they need to say, look, we don't care about Muslims. We love the Muslims. We love the Asian men, aka Pakistani Muslims. We love them. This isn't about any hate for them. This is about ending the patriarchy. Because the one thing that all the people in the inquiry have in common is they're all men. And men are evil. And then the Labour Party will be like, ha, toodaloo, toodaloo, ha ha. Oh, great idea. Bring down the men. Cheers. Wow. Anyway, that's all I got on that. Meanwhile, while we're reporting on 250,000 young women who were violently, abused by these Pakistani guys, the left is worried about Trump's reflecting pool. So remember about a week ago, Trump drained the reflecting pool, painted it blue, and then refilled it. I'm gonna recap you guys on this whole drama. This is the left's biggest drama right now that they're worried about. They're protesting it every day. So he paints it blue. Where's the price? Take a week and cost $2 million. That's a lot of money, but it is big. If you've ever been there, it's freaking huge. So they drain it. And if you've ever been there also, it's filled with duck shit. It's nasty. It's just, sometimes it's drained. It's just kind of ugly. But anyway, they drained it. They painted it blue. Trump thought if it's blue on the bottom, it's going to sparkle better. Well, the blue with the sunlight heated the water faster is what the scientists are saying. It heated the water faster and it made algae grow faster. So within a week of finishing painting it and refilling it, it was covered in algae. There was this green algae all over it. Plus, I think the blue makes it stand out more, the green of the algae. The algae was probably always there, but you couldn't see it as much. But the blue, makes it easier to see. Anyway, there's green algae all over the paint. And so all the left is complaining about that. It's algae. It looks so ugly. I thought you were going to paint it. It was going to be nice, Trump. And then they said, okay, hold on. We'll get the algae out of the pool. So they started pouring a bunch of chemicals into the water, chlorine. They start pouring a bunch of chlorine and stuff into the water. Now the liberals are pissed, saying, save the algae, save the algae. Don't kill the algae, save the algae. plus where the duck's going to go if there's chlorine in the water. They're going to die. Save the ducks, save the algae. So he pours the chemicals in the water. Then I think the chemicals have some reaction with the paint that he just painted on the bottom. So all the paint starts peeling up. Oh, this is Trump's biggest L so far. You know, I'll be critical of him when I need to be critical of him. Are you serious? You're going to charge me, Reuters? I'm not paying. Anyway, maybe I have a video of it. I'll find a video. Anyway, so the chemicals mix and the paint starts peeling. Now they're losing their minds because there's floating layers of paint floating up in the reflecting pool. Here, let me see. And now they're pissed about that. And so it was a big waste of money. It was L after L after L on the reflecting pool for Trump. Waste of money, Trump. Don't try to make things look nice. They don't want things to look nice. You know, focus on the crime. You did a good job. That cleans up the streets. That's a good way to clean up the streets. He wants to leave lasting, like, signs that he was there, like the arch and the ballroom and the reflecting pool, which I respect. A ruler wants to, you know, build some statues or clean up the palace, make the castle bigger. I respect that. But this reflecting pool was just like one mistake after another. It's not working out. Reflecting pool paint. Trump blames alleged vandalism. It's vandals.
To the nation's capital now.
Could be.
Says
Whoa. This morning, several raging wildfires forcing mandatory evacuations in Utah. The Iron Fire, the biggest of 11 wildfires across the state.
Hold on.
By high winds.
I have like 10 YouTubes played just now. Okay.
Algae and peeling sealant appeared last week. This all follows the $16 million renovation project.
16 million. That's what, dude, that thing said it should cost $2 million. And by now they're saying 16 million. That's a lot of money.
Vandals without offering any proof for that peeling paint. This morning he called for a 10-year prison sentence for anyone convicted near the reflecting pool or, you know, sticking their hand in the water. CBS News senior White House employee.
What? 10-year prison sentence for sticking your hand in the water? All right, Trump's getting a little out of line about this reflecting pool. Is this reflecting pool that important?
Correspondent Ed O'Keefe has the details.
I get don't be vandalizing our national monuments. And look at this guy with an Antifa. He's got an anarchy A on his back. He's probably an anarcho-commie Antifa punk. Yeah, lock him up. If he's vandalizing national monuments, lock him up. 10 years, maybe a little long. But shoot, at least take him in for questioning and find out where all the leaders of his terrorist group are. They are terrorists, but 10 years for sticking your hand in the water, I don't know about all that.
President Trump is promising to drain the swamp again. He says work to restore the green peeling mess to American flag blue will begin immediately, blaming vandals for ongoing problems, but with no proof. An administration official says at least 10 people were arrested, given citations for allegedly vandalizing the Washington landmark. But the White House didn't respond.
So there's no proof? We have 10 people arrested.
Requests for comment for more information about the president's accusations. He launched the repair project earlier this year, ahead of America's 250th birthday celebrations. But within days of its completion, algae bloomed.
We were trying to look at the new American flag blue, and we can't see that on the bottom.
Waiting in the pool, workers treated the water with gallons of hydrogen peroxide, cleaned out muck. But in some places, the American blue coating is now floating to the surface.
The green water takes a back seat here to fixing any potential areas that have been damaged. So,
swimming pool and aquatic systems specialist Steve Gooddale says,
oh, good thing we got a swimming pool and aquatic systems expert.
The scale reflecting pool is a unique challenge.
It's perhaps similar to a man-made shallow
No, that duck is going to prison for 10 years.
lake. It's unique in that it's unlike a swimming pool where we manage it with a chemical sanitizer, chlorine. That's not an option here. Then on top of this, we add the grand scale to it, making it all more complicated.
Repairs are adding to the already over-budget project, totaling more than $16 million.
So that guy didn't tell us anything.
After
He say it's actually considered a lake?
A pair of no-bid contracts. One went to a company run by Trump donor J.J. Carrero called, get this, Greenwater Services, which previously has done work at the president's private golf clubs.
The side that's been cleaned is kind of dark gray, I would say, and the side that they're working on here is still bright lime green.
The Interior Department insists, quote, the reflecting pool is crystal clear. People we spoke with say the reality is murkier.
It's definitely greener. I was worried that it wouldn't reflect. It looks like it will still reflect, so there's that going for it at least.
Among those facing charges is former Olympian David Hearn, who faces a misdemeanor charge of destruction of government property. He said over the weekend that he merely had reached into the pool to touch one of those ripped portions of the bottom of the surface. In one of the president's online posts, he alleges that there's a 250-foot gash that was discovered in the pool. We have asked the White House for evidence of those allegations, but have not yet heard back.
How would somebody put a 250-foot gash in paint at the bottom of a pool? Unless you had like a scraper and you walked through it and you ran. There's a construction like paint scrapers. If you had one of those and you ran through sliding one of those along, it would peel it all up. But in the water, I don't know if you could work one of those things with water weight on it. Try to push. Those things are hard enough to just push on the concrete. But with a bunch of water, I don't know about all that. I don't know what's going on with this reflecting pool controversy. It's getting ridiculous. That's all I got on that, though. I just wanted to show how. Meanwhile, while the grooming gang report's coming out, we're in a war with Iran. We're talking about the reflecting pool. Anyway, last little main story news thing here. Fires all over the West. We got hit in Utah. Pretty close to me, right up by the U, up in the mountains up there. Elgin and the Bonneville. But it got all the way over here to like the university. There was an evacuation order for where I live. Or it was like an evacuation standby. We never got evacuated. I wouldn't have been evacuated anyway because I was sleeping through it. Like when I woke up at 8 a.m. or when I went to the store at 8 a.m. Sunday morning, it was smoky as all get out there. As soon as I opened the door, I was like, oh, there's a fire. Smoky. It smelled like smoke. And I looked up into the mountains. I looked all around because I'm in a valley. So there's mountains all around where I look. And you just look for the mountain with smoke pouring off of it. And that's where it's coming from. And it was right over there. And my area had a evacuation standby. But then I came home, went to bed, woke up that night, come to find out this fire was pretty close and there was an evacuation standby. What if I would have got evacuated? I wouldn't have known. I'm not awake. I would have got crispy. I would have got toasty roasted. Move back to the East Coast? Nah. I don't get why they're fighting the algae because they want it to look pretty. They didn't care about the algae before. There was always algae and duck shit all in that thing. It was nasty. Now they care about the algae. But now also the algae looks more noticeable because the bottom of the pool is blue. So the green, when the light shines through the water and hits the blue of the bottom, the green pops more. But anyway, let's look at this fire in Utah. Big fire.
Iron wildfire near Eureka has grown to 22,000 acres and fire.
Okay. Actually, they're going to be talking about the one in Eureka. I'm talking about the Bonneville fire. The Bonneville fire is the one that was right by me. But the big crazy one was the iron fire in Eureka.
Fighters make a stand to protect property. Better news on the Bonneville fire. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brian Malahi.
And I'm Mika Miyashima. We have team coverage for you. Leslie Duarte is live in Salt Lake City near the Bonneville fire. Jill is tracking the weather conditions.
First, Annika.
So this is the one by me.
John's live in Juab County with new comments from the governor. Annika, what's he saying?
Yeah, good afternoon here. All right, so there have been some high praises and thankful hearts here in this area for those who are battling the fire back in the city of Eureka and the residents who had to leave their homes here, and thanks to those who, and they are giving thanks to those who have welcomed them in with some open arms.
Yesterday was a no good, very bad day for the state of Utah.
In less than 24 hours, the iron fire has spread across Utah and Juab County.
No good,
growing
very
to be
bad
over
day.
20,000 acres. In its path of destruction, the small town of Eureka.
As of this morning, there were no homes lost, which is pretty much a miracle after what we saw last night. I mean, there was a time where we wondered if we were going to lose the whole town.
Governor Cox thanked all the agencies currently working around the clock to protect the homes and businesses in the small town.
The fire burned right up to the town, and there were moments where it was just touch and go last night as the wind was blowing, and I can't say enough good about our firefighters, just our fire crews, state, local, federal crews, everybody who showed up in a big way.
Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson says she was in the town last night when the evacuation order was given, describing the moment as terrifying, but praising Eureka residents for their cooperation.
Residents were told, once you see flames coming over the crest of this ridge, you need to evacuate. And about 15 minutes later, that whole ridge was aflame. This is a scary time of year, especially here in the state of Utah, and I hope this is a wake-up call for people in Utah.
But among the most touched during this morning's briefing was Clint Painter, a Juab County commissioner who says it's incredible to see the state come together for this town of less than 1,000 people.
It's emotional, honestly it is, because as the governor said, no one really comes together like Utah. It gives you hope in humanity. I guess that's the right ways. You just see all these people, like I said, they dropped everything and came in and just helped each other out, and that's it's amazing to see that.
And we got it handled. Unlike California, where the fires are still probably burning from 4 years ago.
At this point, the cause of the fire remains under investigation. However, officials do believe that it is human caused. Now, both the governor and the lieutenant.
California, they got a warehouse that's been burning for 5 days.
The governor says that they hope that this serves as a reminder for Utahns of the importance of being prepared and cautious, especially with the elevated fire danger that we are seeing statewide.
And Annika, you've been out there since this morning. Have you noticed
of making water drops and some smoke smoldering in that hillside there, but for the most part looks pretty calm, nothing like what we saw last night. Crews say they have made major progress on parts of the fire line, particularly on the southwest corner of this hillside. The fire activity,
that's the Bonneville one. And I can see this. I can just look up at the mountain over there and I can see it's all black.
Has been much less aggressive than yesterday. They also say they're not expecting another large acreage increase, but that depends on how the fire behaves.
We want to keep the crews in good spots where they have easy evacuation routes if the situation were to change. And while we have seen active fire behavior today, it hasn't been large runs, which is really what we like to see, especially considering the conditions and the wind we saw yesterday, that we saw a lot of big, heavy runs.
Now, no evacuations are in place.
Where is this? This is the video of it burning. This is the Eureka one. That's crazy.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah, you could like look out at the sky the other night. Not last night, but the night before, Sunday night. You could look out at the sky in Utah, and just the sky was glowing in like 3 different places.
Heat and dry conditions, burning more than 22,000 acres southwest of Provo. The flames erupting Friday, growing rapidly over the weekend as firefighters struggle to contain it.
It's just real sad. They rode and off-roaded in these mountains and a lot of memories, and they're all pretty much just gone, burned up.
The flames bearing down on the town of Eureka. Firefighters working to protect
What do you mean now you're just going to have more space to four-wheel?
threatened homes.
That's way closer than anybody wants it to be. We're all packed up, ready to go.
Officials say the fire was human caused, but no further details have been shared. About an hour west of Salt Lake City, the Hastings fire growing to 6,000 acres.
It doesn't take much for those winds to carry that fire and those embers through the dry fuels.
And the Bonneville fire burning nearly 500 acres above hospitals and the University of Utah, where a shelter in place was issued. It has since been lifted and is.
That was good thing. I was sleeping, or I was streaming, so I was already sheltered in place. But yeah, this is right behind the University of Utah and the hospital, which are right up the hill over there.
Safety notice remains.
Now, Utah officials are warning people to definitely stay inside, especially if you are an elderly or have any lung conditions, because this could be a major concern for people. Of course, the air quality there, a major issue right now. Robin?
It certainly is. And Melissa, toxic air currently affecting parts of Los Angeles as well?
Yeah, speaking of, because they have a warehouse that's been on fire in LA for 5 days.
Exactly, Robin. There are currently unhealthy air quality in parts of Los Angeles, and all of this is due to this massive warehouse fire that is burning. It has been smoldering for days now, and now a state of emergency has been declared. We can see those smoke and...
Why don't they put it out? Why isn't it out yet?
Plume from miles and miles away. There are air quality alerts issued, and now there are LA officials handing out masks and air purifiers to people, because we are talking about 85 million pounds of food that is decaying and burning. And Michael, officials say that this could possibly burn for weeks.
Wow. All right. Melissa, thank you for...
A giant warehouse filled with food lit on fire and just allowed to burn for 5 days in LA. Should we be on the case? Seems like an unsolved mystery or a conspiracy theory. All right, damn. 70 major fires. That warehouse one is called the Boyle Heights warehouse fire. But we're going to watch this, about 70 fires. So that's mostly Utah. LA is what we're going to talk about, but there's 70 major fires burning throughout the U.S.
Tonight in the West,
right now. Well, yesterday.
Wildfires. At least 70 major fires are burning in several states, fueled by extreme heat and gusty winds. CBS's Jonathan Vigliotti is in Los Angeles with the latest on the flames and evacuations. Jonathan.
Jerika, good evening to you. Just as the summer begins, the West is staring down a dry and hot week ahead, and with it comes the increased threat of heat-related injuries and wildfire danger.
Dry fuels and gusty winds are fanning dangerous flames in Nevada tonight. 2 out-of-control fires are burning south of Caliente, where rugged terrain is complicating firefighting efforts. The blazes there have consumed over 20,000 acres.
Move your bottom
and
third.
Overnight in Utah, a fire scorched the hillside near the University of Utah, triggering a shelter-in-place order. Firefighters extinguishing the flames.
Damn, it was right there. It got right there? That's so close. The gas station that I freaking go to is right down here on this corner around here.
In central Utah, firefighters are taking advantage of calmer winds. The wind-driven iron fire is threatening homes and ranches in the evacuated town of Eureka.
At this time, 0% contained means we are not confident in the line being super secure.
And along the busy Florida Turnpike,
Florida?
a massive brush fire briefly shut down the highway. Heat-related injuries are also a concern.
The Florida Turnpike. I thought they said fires 70 western U.S. Florida is not western U.S.
This weekend, authorities confirmed 3 elderly hikers died while traversing the Grand Canyon's inner
We talked about this.
trails as temperatures spiked above 100.
Yeah, but let's be honest. It was a 72-year-old, a 68-year-old, and a 69-year-old. Why are they hiking in the desert?
Degrees. As millions of Americans set out for summer vacation, authorities are urging caution as temperatures are set
I know,
to
I'll
surge
sleep
into triple digits in many parts of the country.
And here in Los Angeles, temperatures are expected to peak midweek. Authorities say if you're going outside to hike or just being in the heat in general, bring plenty of water, find shade, and take breaks. It's the best way, they say, to stay safe, Tarika.
Simple tips that work. Jonathan Vigliotti.
All right, so fires are on the menu. Look at this. Smoke blankets parts of LA after Boyle Heights warehouse fire. Is it done yet? Is it done burning yet? Because when I put this together this morning, it was still burning 5 days later. 6th day. Smoke clouded swaths of Los Angeles for a 6th day, Monday, after a fire broke out in a warehouse in the Boyle Heights area. Stubborn blaze was reported Wednesday around 2:30 p.m. on the roof of 500,000 square foot cold food storage facility on South Los Palos Street. It prompted shelter-in-place orders and the declaration of a state of emergency over the weekend. Started burning Wednesday. By Friday and Saturday, it's still burning, and Newsom declares a state of emergency. The fire is still actively producing smoke and impacting air quality. That means something's still burning. Put it out. You're still talking about fires? I just started talking about the fires like 15 minutes ago. Impacting air quality throughout the region, the South Coast Air Quality Management District said in a statement Sunday, extending its particle pollution advisory into Monday morning.
Meanwhile, there is a fire here in Los Angeles that is burning, and there's a shelter in place, in effect, out in the Boyle Heights neighborhood. I want to show you this video because it is pretty striking. It's a commercial building that's on fire. The fire department says it is releasing hazardous materials into the neighborhood. You see those solar panels moving, burning there. People are being advised to go inside, close their windows, and turn off air conditioning.
Is it just the solar panels on top of the building burning? What the heck?
Units, if you have them. LAPD is issuing a citywide tactical alert. Now, the fire department has been trying to put out the fire with water drops. In fact, that's one of them that you see right there. Our NBC station here in Los Angeles is above the fire. Here's what they said just moments ago.
And there's another helicopter about to make another water drop here, Jonathan. Fire 3. We've seen him already drop twice, so this will be the third time that he's gone to Montecito Heights to fill up and come back. And there he is, right on cue as he comes around the south side of the building and is now headed to the east. So this is going to put him over Indiana Street. He's going to make that sweeping left turn to come back over the fire, and we'll see how low he gets. I know you were kind of...
What, that little helicopter is filled with water? It doesn't even have the bag. Don't they usually fill like a big bag that's hanging under the helicopter?
Observing that earlier to see if they're going to stay high on this one or if they're going to try to get closer to the structure. So we'll see what he does. And there's also a chance he may go around twice if needed. But nope, there he goes. So that water drop right on the thickest, heaviest flames on the south side of the structure. And let's just watch it. I think it's beautiful to see the white smoke start to emanate, because that white smoke is a good sign. Whenever we're seeing that heavy black smoke, you know it's finding fresh fuel. But when we see this white smoke, that really is what tells us that firefighters are starting to get an upper handle on it. And overall, as I widen out...
I don't know. That black smoke trail is moving quick.
The shot compared to when we first got overhead.
Black smoke is faster than white smoke. All right. Well, that's that. Yeah, an emergency declaration, state of emergency for Boyle Heights warehouse fire. I think it's been like 6 days and still going. It's crazy. Crazy. Okay, that's it for the main news. What else we got? What do we got in rapid fire? I don't think I really have much rapid fire news, but we have a lot of stuff from the G7 to cover. We might sit and watch a good chunk of Trump's speech. It's an hour long. I don't know if I'm going to get through all of it or half of it or what, but we'll see. This video went viral this week. Great little 11-second clip. I've watched this a bunch of times already. A little feel-good video, you know? Remember, this is the most hetero Pride Month ever. A little feel-good movie. Look at this dad do a kickflip, and the kid's going to try to do it with his bike. Stupid kid. You can't kickflip a bike, kid. One more. What do you think, the bike was going to fly up in the air and flip around and land? What the? A little, a little feel-good video there. It is Pride Month. We do have to do a weird cess stuff segment. But we have a good weird cess stuff segment this week. We have a video about every company that ditched Pride this year. So this is good cess stuff in weird cess stuff segment.
This month I celebrated my day 365 of womanhood, and Bud Light sent me possibly the best gift ever, a can with my face on it.
Let's have these two characters kiss. Let's, in the background, like I was just, wherever I could, just basically adding queerness.
How did the industry pay homage to the founding mothers of beer? They put us in bikinis.
The death of corporate Pride Month. This is our weird cess stuff segment. But this is the most hetero Pride Month ever in the past 10 years. So we don't even have weird cess stuff. We're going to talk about formerly weird sex companies who are backing away from Pride this year.
For years, every June looked the same. Rainbow flags, pride slogans, and controversial merch. Before you knew it, every major company in America acted like it was leading some kind of moral revolution. Every facet of the market was hit by this delusion. Beer companies, banks, sports leagues, tech giants, retail stores. Companies that had nothing to do with politics started acting like political organizations. But in 2026, something changed. On this Pride Month, a lot of those same companies would change course. It's not clear who was the first shoe to drop, but sports suddenly became the first example of this shift. In 2026, the NFL's main account stayed silent at the start of Pride Month. No league-wide rainbow push, no giant Pride announcement, no loud corporate sermon from the Shield. And on top of that, 9 NFL teams did not post Pride Month messages for 2026. The New York Jets, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Cleveland Browns, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Dallas Cowboys, and the New Orleans Saints. Even baseball had its own example. The Texas Rangers are still the only MLB team that does not hold a Pride Night. This wave of logic would also hit the Fortune 500 in 2026.
They said, why not? Because it's gay.
Back in 2023, 10 major Fortune 500 companies were documented using rainbow logos on X. ExxonMobil, Bank of America, Citi, UPS, Pfizer, Freddie Mac, McKesson, Cardinal Health, Centene, and AmerisourceBergen. But by 2025, only one of those 10 still had it up.
Pfizer. Of course.
That means 9 out of 10 had quietly dropped the rainbow. And that is when the pattern became impossible to ignore. The Pride logo was no...
Of course it's Pfizer that's still doing the gay stuff. Of course. Who would have guessed it?
longer automatic. The public signal was no longer safe. And once the logo started disappearing, the money started disappearing as well. MasterCard pulled back, Citi pulled back, also PepsiCo, Nissan, Comcast, Anheuser-Busch, and more. Pride organizations started feeling it too. NYC Pride faced a major budget hole. San Francisco Pride lost major corporate support. Pittsburgh Pride struggled to raise money. The same companies that once fought to get their names on Pride banners suddenly did not seem so eager to be seen. When Pride branding was rewarded, these companies were loud in their support. But when customers pushed back, they got quiet. So maybe these companies were never taking a stand. Maybe it was never courage. Maybe it was just branding. And in 2026, the money told them to put the rainbow logo away.
Thank you. Let's freaking go. 2026. The death of pride. The most hetero pride month ever. No more demon month. We don't rock with demon month. What do we got here? Oh, so we're going to get into the G7 summit here. I'll play this as a little teaser. This is Biden at the G7 summit and Trump at the G7 summit. Bum, 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 ba-na-na-na, da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na. Oh, no. Oh, that song is so copyrighted. Far away from me. Trump, I'm the boss.
I'm the boss.
It's the motherfucking D-O-double-G Snoop Dogg. I'm the boss. I love that.
Hello. I'm the boss.
It's the one and only D-O-double-G Snoop Dogg.
Let's go, Trump. Okay. What the heck? Bam body. What is that? I don't need that. I'm Liam Neeson. Okay. So, rapid fire news mixed with G7 stuff because most of the rapid fire news is stuff from the G7. Yeah. Well, Vance says talks with Iranian officials set good foundation for a deal to end the war. I think I have. Yeah, let's do the Iran stuff first. And then we'll do Starmer leaving. And then we'll do Maloney being mad about Trump saying she wanted a picture with me. Okay. Obergen, Switzerland. Vice President J.D. Vance on Monday said his lengthy talks with senior Iranian officials in Switzerland created a good foundation for a successful final deal as they seek a permanent end to the war that the U.S. and Israel began in late February. So it seems like what Freddie was saying Sunday night was bullshit as usual. Vance and U.S. officials claim progress on multiple fronts, including the establishment of mechanisms, quote unquote, to ensure the Strait of Hormuz, a vital waterway for global energy shipment, stays open, and to address fighting between Israel and Iranian-backed Hezbollah militants in southern Lebanon, where a ceasefire appeared to be holding. The interim deal to end the fighting in Iran, signed last week by the leaders of the U.S. and Iran, sets a 60-day period for negotiations on key issues, including the future of Tehran's nuclear program, amid concerns that Iran wants to use it for military purposes, a claim the country denies. Yeah, of course they deny it. The vice president departed Switzerland as technical teams were still negotiating, and U.S. President Donald Trump talked up the efforts to keep the strait open to create an oil gusher, as he stressed that the key to resolving the war was respect from Iran. As long as they respect us, I don't want to use the word fear because that's an inappropriate word. But as long as they respect us, we're not going to have any trouble. Iran effectively closed the strait after the U.S. and Israel attacked on February 28, causing oil prices to skyrocket far beyond the river. Interim agreement, lead negotiator of Iranian delegation, Iran's parliamentary speaker, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, insisted on Monday that the Strait of Hormuz will be managed by Iran, but following international laws. And don't make nukes. Okay. What's the Muslim news network saying? Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera, the Muslim news network, tells us the key outcomes of Iran, U.S. talks in Switzerland. What's next? You know, just so you can't say I only pick biased right-wing news sources or something. We read the Muslim news too. Mediators Qatar and Pakistan have said the United States and Iran agreed on a roadmap towards reaching a final deal within 60 days, following what they described as encouraging progress during the first day of high-level talks in Switzerland. The discussions followed the signing of a 14-point memorandum of understanding on June 17th that established a framework for de-escalation between Washington and Tehran and laid the groundwork for further negotiations. Now, where's where Maryland's saying we're giving them billions of dollars? There is a deal that Iran, a draft of the deal that Iran leaked that said that they wanted $300 billion to repair their country. But that's from them. Like, that's what they want. That doesn't mean that that's what we're going to do. I'm trying to look for a number here of money that we're going to give them because Maryland says we're giving them billions of dollars. Breakthrough came after a marathon 18-hour meeting at Lake Lucerne attended by senior officials from both countries. The joint statement also announced the creation of a deconfliction cell aimed at ending Israel's military operations in Lebanon alongside a high-level committee and directed communication channels designed to support further negotiations. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance led Washington's delegation alongside President Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff. Iran's delegation was led by Parliamentary Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf and included Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi. Yesterday was a very, very good day. We made a lot of good progress. We did exactly what we wanted to, Vance told reporters on Monday. So what are the key takeaways? High-level committee communication channels. A high-level committee established to provide political oversight and mediation. Agreed upon a roadmap towards reaching a final deal within 60 days, blah, blah, blah. On the nuclear issue, work said the biggest problem is that removing or downgrading the enriched uranium is going to take several thousand people, probably 1,000 Americans, going into some of Iran's most sensitive nuclear sites. So, what? Wait. So we got to send 1,000 Americans. See, they're too dumb to even de-enrich their uranium. This is the problem. So who was it? Teriak was talking about building up the infrastructure of other countries. You can't do that because they don't know how to maintain it. They don't know how to upkeep it. So we have to build it, then we have to train them. But you can't train sub 70 IQ people to do high-level engineering. That doesn't work. They're not, you need a certain like IQ level to be able to even understand basic engineering. They can't do it. So you can't train them. You have to keep people over there to maintain all these things. They make freaking dirty bombs and they don't even know how to de-enrich the uranium. We have to send guys over there to do that. All the people saying glass it, their argument is starting to sound better. I'm looking for where it says we're giving them money. Parties established a communication line focusing on Strait of Hormuz to avoid incidents. Windward showed 12 vessels cross the strait on Sunday, down from 35 transits the previous day. It's Iran's de facto blockade of the strait triggered a global energy crisis, which affected economies around the world, not just America. And also, it's not our fault that they did that. We're just bombing them because they had nukes. If they want to shut down the world's energy, the world's mad at them. So it's actually a good play from Trump. It hurt our pockets for a little while. But I don't want to hear no Democrats who are willing to pay $5.50 a gallon under Biden complaining about the gas now. You guys are the ones who failed in COVID and let the oil companies put the gas at that price for no fucking reason, except we're emptying out our reserves, and you were okay with the oil companies setting the price that back then that way. The people who voted for Trump have a reason to be mad, but the Democrats, shut up. Deconfliction cell for Lebanon. So they want to end the conflict with Lebanon. Israel needs to stop attacking Lebanon. They're going to make a deconfliction cell. I'm looking for money for rebuilding. Sanctions, relief, and frozen assets. Also suggested that the agreement includes significant economic concessions from Washington, although the United States has yet to publicly confirm them. Post on X, he said sanctions on Iranian oil exports and petrochemical sales have been waived. The blockade had been lifted. Some frozen Iranian assets have been released, and a major reconstruction and development plan for Iran have been launched. This major reconstruction and development plan, because unfreezing their assets is not us giving them money. Loosening sanctions isn't us giving them money. But if we're going to loosen the sanctions on their oil, then they need to act right. But this major reconstruction and development plan probably going to cost us some money. Now, the number I saw that Iran was claiming was one of their demands, which they probably weren't going to get, was $300 billion, and that was like 2 weeks ago when I was talking about it. International Atomic Energy Agency is the UN's nuclear watchdog. IAEA inspected Iran's nuclear program under Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, the JCPOA, in 2015 nuclear deal with Iran, negotiated by Barack Obama, which Trump pulled the U.S. out of in 2018. Iran eventually barred inspectors from entering the country last year after the 12-day war with Israel. When Israel pounded nuclear and military sites, the U.S. also joined the war, attacking 3. So even Al Jazeera admits that after the 12-day war, when we obliterated their nuclear sites, then they barred inspectors from coming in and they started rebuilding quickly. Iran's uranium enrichment program has been a major bone of contention between the U.S. and Iran, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't say we're giving them any money, except for this one line right here. But this is the guy on X saying this is what they want. This hasn't been agreed to yet. They want $300 billion. They can want in one hand and take a doo-doo in the other and see which one fills up first. I like these ones. Trump says Iran will have to agree to major weapons inspections. President Donald Trump announced major combat operations against Iran on February 28th. What? February 28th? Oh, delegation of the United States and Iran arrived over the weekend at the Birkenstock Resort in Switzerland, where they entered negotiations aimed at war-ending deal based on a memorandum of understanding signed last week by both countries. So I don't know. Vance says negotiations are making progress as he leaves Switzerland. What happened, Freddie? I thought they kicked everybody out of the summit. It wasn't happening. No peace talks were happening. Everybody hates JD Vance, and Maryland says we're about to give Iran $300 billion. Where is all of this happening? It's not happening. Listen to DCNN. Don't listen to Freddie and Maryland for your information, guys. This is not Iran related, but and I don't know if it's G7 related. Well, it's on the heels of the G7, and it's on the heels of the grooming gang inquiry coming out. Starmer quits as UK Prime Minister after just 2 years. Starmer is out, and he's one of the ones that was blocking the inquiry And then the inquiry came out, and then the G7 happens, and now he's stepping down. Labor falls out of love with Starmer's pragmatism. Starmer faltered on policy, lacking a big idea, increasingly turned to his wife for advice.
Beta!
Burnham seen as a reform slayer. Keir Starmer was once hailed as the leader who would bring pragmatism and stability to Britain after years of political chaos. When he quit as prime minister on Monday, the very lack of ideology that propelled him to power drove his downfall. After guiding the Labour Party into power in 2024 with the biggest parliamentary majority in Britain's modern history, Starmer focused on what he believed was possible to achieve rather than setting out on a clear vision or a future Britain. Let's see what Keir Starmer's talking about.
I will resign as leader of the Labour Party. The question my party is asking now is whether I am best placed to lead us into the next general election.
Ask your wife.
I have heard the answer of my parliamentary party to that question.
A resounding no.
And I accept that answer with good grace. Every decision I've taken has been about putting the country I love first. That is why I will resign as leader of the Labour Party. And when I leave the biggest job in the country, I shall spend more time on the most important job, being the best husband I can to my fantastic wife, Vic, who has been a rock by my side through good times and...
Yeah, I just read that, Freddie, and it doesn't say that. You talking about what I just read? You talking about what this whole thing is about is the memorandum? This whole thing I just covered all the points of the memorandum, and I just highlighted the reconstruction and development. That is not in the memorandum. That it comes from an X post from this Gabajabi guy. Notice how I have it highlighted right there. Major reconstruction and development plan. A post on X said that it had been launched. The U.S. has not confirmed this yet. The U.S. has yet to publicly confirm these claims. We just went over the 14-point memorandum of understanding, Freddie. That's what I just went over. So, thanks for nothing, as usual.
Bad. I'm being the best dad I can to my beautiful children, who are my pride and my joy.
Oh my God, he's gonna cry.
Thank you very much.
Beta!
Oh my God.
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
Yep. Deuces Starmer. He gone. Ain't no sense praying for him no more. He gone. What the heck? Oh, here we go. Trump and Giorgia Meloni got into a little tiff at the G7. She's the one that Teriak always plays. I don't know what she's saying because I don't speak France. Is she the Italian? What is she? The Italian premier? The Italian premier? Anyway, completely fabricated claims about a photo op at the G7. So she like walks up to him when he comes in the room and he said, she just wanted a photo. She just wanted a photo with me. That's all. They're like, what'd she say to you when she came up? And he's like, she just wanted a picture with me. She wanted a photo up. And she's like, no, I did not want the photo up. The Italian government closed ranks on Friday to slam U.S. President Donald Trump over his claim that Premier Giorgia Meloni had begged for a photo with him during the recent G7 summit. a pushback that suggested America's longtime European ally had had enough of Trump's boasting and criticism. Italian Foreign Minister Antonio Tajani abruptly canceled a planned trip to the United States this weekend, calling Trump's claims serious and offensive toward Meloni and all of Italy. Yeah, right. Watch this video that I'm going to show in a second. She's like all googly-eyed and talking to him, and she in love. Meloni, for her part, posted a video calling Trump's claims completely fabricated and expressing astonishment that he would vent such things about an ally. Italy and I do not beg, she said pointedly. Trump had made the comments in an interview broadcast Friday on the LA7 network. The LA7 correspondent had asked Trump about Ukraine, but Trump raised Meloni, and the conversation turned to their meeting during the just concluded G7 meeting in Evian-les-Bains, France. Meloni and Trump were filmed speaking at several moments, including alone on a small sofa. According to LA7, Trump said Meloni had begged him for a photo op. She begged me on her knees. Trump said he wasn't obliged to do it, but that he felt sorry for her and agreed. LA7 said the broadcaster put a dub version of the conversation online, but not the original English audio. And so she's pissed. I didn't beg him for anything. Look how long this story is just for this. A fantastic friendship is frayed. Trump and Italy's Giorgia Meloni escalate war of words over G7 photo claims. The feud showed no signs of cooling on Saturday as Meloni fired back at Trump. My popularity is none of your concern. I suggest you focus on yours. Oh, shit. 12-second ad. All right, hold on. Clearly irked at President Donald Trump's suggestion that she had begged him for a photo op at the Group of Seven summit earlier this week, the Italian prime minister said this was totally fabricated.
Not Israel. In this case, it's Italy's top diplomat there abruptly canceling a planned trip to the U.S. separate weekend after a back and forth between Mr. Trump and the Italian Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni. Now, the two were together at the G7 summit in France this week, where the president claimed in an interview with Italian TV that Meloni, quote, begged him for a photo and that he felt sorry for her. Meloni responded in a video on X, calling his account totally fabricated and saying Italy and I never beg. She goes on to say, I don't know why the president of the United States behaves this way with his own allies. It's not, after all, the first time this has happened. And I can only say it's a shame he doesn't show the same determination with the enemies of the West, with the enemies of the United States. Well,
I don't know that you guys aren't our enemies, Georgia.
Right. It's hardly the first time the president has belittled, dismissed, or targeted America's closest friends. Also at the G7, he called Mexico's president a sacred woman.
She begged me for a photo. Trump at G7. She's a very scared woman. The drug cartels are totally running Mexico. What did he say about, who is that? Wife treats him extremely badly. I will seize Greenland one way or the other. So this is the Switzerland, Greenland, Canada. Future governor of Canada. He's doing a terrible job. This is the guy in Germany.
That a scared woman. He said the French president's wife treats him badly earlier this year. He said that Germany's chancellor was doing a terrible job. He mocked the Canadian prime
Macron
minister as the future governor of Canada. And, of course, he threatened Denmark by suggesting he would take Greenland one way or the other. Greenland, of course, is Danish territory. NBC's Gabe Gutierrez is at the White House. Gabe, the Italian minister who canceled his visit over Trump's comments, called them, quote, serious and offensive toward Meloni and all of Italy. How dangerous is this? How serious is the damage with the Italian government? And I got to ask you this as the guy who...
Is it that serious? He said she wanted a picture with me. I mean, who doesn't want a picture with me?
Who stands there every day. Why does the president regularly target America's allies and treat them like this.
Well, Tom, this is, as you know, nothing new from President Trump. He has been escalating his rhetoric against European allies, really throughout his second term, especially, to say nothing of his first term. But really, he has felt emboldened during this term to really go after European allies for what he sees as not doing enough. Especially recently, he has been frustrated with multiple European allies for, in his view, not doing enough to help reopen the Strait of Hormuz, for not trying to help the United States in a variety of ways. And you just laid out some of the snubs against allies, not just in Europe, but also in Canada. And he's, talked about making Canada the 51st state. And he's also railed against the president of France.
Okay, shut up, dude. Yeah. All those countries can get it. You want the smoke, you can get it. Here's him talking to her when he's walking into the G7 summit. But I guess this is a different time when they're walking in, because one time he walks in late and he says, "I'm the boss." Macron.
I suggest you look just a few seconds to Merci à la presse. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, press. So, thank you, colleagues.
Evian. Is that where the water bottles come from? Look at Trump says, "I'm the boss."
Hello.
I'm the boss.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Everybody else has like tons of notebooks and folders and piles of paper. Trump's got like one little note. He sets this like one little note on the table.
Dear colleagues.
Oh, okay. She brought him a file folder.
Would you like to stay for the meeting? It's okay with me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
He told the media they could stay. Trump claims vandals damaged the reflecting pool with a knife. Maybe. He might have some secret information that we don't know about. All right. I think that's all the news that I got, but we have his G7 summit speech, which I'd kind of like to sit back and watch for the last little while here. I have to watch you more funny as hell. I've been funny as hell. All right. I think I'm out of any more news. Let me check breaking news. Breaking news. What's breaking in the news? Keir Starmer announces resignation. We already talked about that. Note connected to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, mother of Today. Whatever happened to her? I guess we gave up on Today Show anchor. Note connected to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, mother of Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie, said she had died. A note sent to media outlets in February connected to Today Show said she had died. Multiple law enforcement sources briefed on the case. Followed a first note that demanded ransom of $1 million. The second note said Nancy Guthrie was dead and they did not mean to kill her, but she died shortly after the kidnapping. Okay, well, that's a sad ending to that story. They got that note in February and they just now told us about it. I've been worried about it this whole time. U.S. temporary lifts oil sanctions against Iran, citing productive talks. Senate passes bill to lower housing costs and restrict Wall Street from buying land. Nice. Federal judge finds a Trump data system to verify voters is unlawful. We got when did that don't we have a Senate hearing tomorrow on some big bills? The no mail-in voting bill that Trump's trying to do, and there was another big bill tomorrow. The 23rd, right? Big bills voted on tomorrow. Housing affordability bill. No. Recent floor activity. Bills and resolutions. Anyway. There was some big stuff they were going to be talking about. Anyway, we're going to watch this Trump speech at the end of the G7 real quick for the last little bit here. I don't see much else in the news to talk about. So I haven't watched a full Trump speech in a minute, so we got to catch up on this. Hughes explosions rock Oklahoma. That's pretty crazy. Hold on. I got to go check my air.
Press. That's good. We
like the press.
We had a great event. This was something very special. And I want to thank President Macron and Bridget, his really lovely wife, fantastic person, for welcoming us to France for an extremely successful G7 summit. I would say it's one of the most successful. And this meeting could not have come at a better time. On Sunday, we reached an agreement with Iran that achieves everything we set out to accomplish, everything and much more. Ending the current conflict, reopening the Strait of Hormuz, and preventing Iran from ever obtaining a nuclear weapon. That's what it was all about. That was about 99%. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. They can't develop it, buy it. They can never have a nuclear weapon. At the same time, with this announcement, or close to it, as people started to think it was going to happen, when
This cameraman sucks.
Iran was making some very positive statements, the stock market has surged to record highs, picking up thousands of points over the last short period of time, thousands of points. And oil is dropping.
Whoever's on that camera, stop going to him. He doesn't know how to do his job.
Like it has never dropped before, at levels that went in numbers, down $7, down $8. They've never seen anything like that. But if we didn't do this deal, we could have dropped more bombs for another 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 2 years. You would never have the Hormuz Strait open. You would never have success. Your market would have, instead of going up at levels that nobody's ever seen before, would go down at levels that nobody ever saw before, maybe except for 1929 or whatever.
And this is what I've been talking about, controlling the world's energy and how it hurt everyone, but it showed who's in charge, who's the boss, is Trump. And that's why I'm saying, if we can all work together and do this deal with Iran, then everybody will do better for it. We'll control the oil, not Iran. And we're not going to let them have a nuke also, which is good. But I don't think it was ever as much about the nukes as it was about the oil.
And all the tough guys don't realize that This wasn't a 3-month deal. This was years in the making. You know why? Because I was the one that killed General Soleimani. And if I didn't kill General Soleimani, we probably wouldn't be talking right now about this deal, because he was a mad genius. They never were able to replace him. But
Yeah, because a genius in the Middle East is like a needle in a haystack.
a lot of people forget that. The tough guys, you know, the tough guys that would drive the country right down the tubes. The past 2 days have provided a chance to discuss the details of this historic agreement with
America only has 5 weeks of reserve oil. That's why he needs the deal. Could that be because Biden dumped our oil reserves? Remember, he emptied out our oil reserves. You remember that, Freddie? We had a ton stockpiled, and he emptied them. And also, you don't know what you're talking about ever. So
many of our closest friends and allies, including the G7 nations and many presidents and prime ministers, as you saw. Prime Minister Modi was here. We had a long talk. He's a great guy. They are thrilled that we made a deal. Every one of them. There's not one nation that came to us and said, please, sir, keep dropping bombs on them. Please keep dropping bombs. The stupid people say that. But I'm thrilled to report. And by the way, those last 2 days were brutal. $200 million worth of bombs. And, you know, it is expensive, too, by the way, aside from everything else. And they knew I was coming for a third night. We informed them we're coming for a third night. They didn't have their Navy. It sunk. They didn't have their Air Force. It's gone. Not one plane. They didn't have anti-aircraft equipment. So we got...
This cameraman, get freaking pan your camera up.
Free reign. They didn't have their leaders. But they have a new group of leaders that I think is... actually, I think they're smarter. I think they're very smart. I think they're far less radicalized, and I think they're really good. They love their country. You know, you talk about regime change. Nobody will say that, but I guess that's, look, their one set of leaders is all gone. Their second set of leaders is all gone. Their third set of leaders a little bit gone, but for the most part, and frankly, I think that's regime change. I think they're going to behave much differently. I think they see a different way of life that they were never exposed to. So the one thing I didn't want to see is I didn't want to see economic catastrophe. If you kept this going, that could have happened. But all I know is every time we talked about the possibility of peace, the stock market shot up like a rocket ship. It never went down. They didn't like it. The people, you know, the stock market is more brilliant than anybody there is, including the people on the stage, other than me, of course. Let's see. I don't know. What do you think, Scott? Is the stock market more brilliant than you?
No, sir.
Oh, that's a terrible statement. All right. The stock market is quite brilliant. And
That's a terrible statement. Wait, Trump says the stock market is more brilliant than everyone up here except me. Hey, Scott, what about you? Is the stock market more brilliant than you? Scott said, no, sir. He said, that's a terrible statement. I just told you the stock market is more brilliant than you, Scott. You're supposed to say yes. Yes, sir. The stock market is... Could you imagine if Scott said, yes, sir, the stock market is more brilliant than me, sir? I don't even know what that means, but... Okay. The stock market is more brilliant than all of you combined. You too, Rubio.
every time we said something amazing, like we're going to settle, it would go up. And every time we said something negative, like, guess what, we're not going to be able to settle, it would.
And his jokes, he's like telling jokes. If he was at a Trump rally, people would laugh and cheer. But here, everybody's quiet and it's stuffy. So he says a joke other than me, and he expects laughter. There's like a laughter break there. But nobody in the room laughs because they're all like, just talk, Trump. What do you mean the stock? You're more brilliant than the stock market. What does that even mean?
Go down very big, Peter. Very, very big.
Bigly.
Tells you something. And you know, I've studied presidents, some good, some bad, some great. Not too many are great, and some really bad. We had one just recently. And the one president I did not want to be was the late, great Herbert Hoover. I didn't want that, and who knows what would have happened. But bad things happen, so the past 2 days have provided a chance to discuss the details of the deal with the closest friends and allies, the heads of countries. They were all here, a lot of them, far more than the 7, as you know, a lot of them. And they put out a statement. I think President Macron, who did a great job, by the way, did a really fan. Him and Bridget, they did a great job. But they all put out statements saying they love this deal because they want to see it over. And they love the fact that the hormones, don't forget, if we were going to drop bombs, let's say we went another month, another 2, 3 months, maybe weeks, could be another 3 months, could be whatever. What do you have left? Got maybe nothing. But
Am I? Oh, I wasn't scrolled up.
The straight one.
It wasn't the cameraman's fault. It's my fault because I wasn't scrolled up all the way.
Never be open. Because people that own billion-dollar ships, these ships cost $1 billion. They don't like sailing ships or having their ships participate when you go up the coast and you go through the strait and there are rockets flying over your head. They want to protect their $1 billion investment. You wouldn't have oil for maybe years. These are stupid people. But nobody was tougher than me. Nobody hit Soleimani. You know, when I hit Soleimani...
This isn't his best speech. This is like not his best speech.
Soleimani, people thought that was the biggest thing to happen in the Middle East for 50 years. That was the biggest event. He was the
He's getting old. They can't all be bangers.
Of Iran. And respected, but he was a mad genius. He was a genius, the father of the roadside bomb. When you see young men, and in some cases women, mostly men, walking around without legs, without arms, with a face that's...
They're walking around without legs over there. How you walking around without legs? How they been walking around without legs?
Been blown to smithereens. It's Soleimani, 95%, 96.2 they say or something. 95%. That was Soleimani did it. Happened to come from Iran, and I blew him up. You remember that? I blew him up in the Valley of Death. He got off his plane.
Blew him up in the Valley of Death.
And in all fairness, because they've been wonderful to me, Israel, but they didn't want to do that attack. They were all set the night before the attack. They informed me they didn't want to do it, so I had to make a decision. I made the decision to do it. But it was a joint venture, as we say in the real estate business. That was a joint venture between Israel and us. We studied it for a month. We knew what plane he was going to be on. Almost a month before, he only traveled on commercial airliners, the big ones with lots of people, because he knew we wouldn't shoot him down. He's very smart. But we knew he was going to be on that plane. We followed him, and then Israel informed me that they won't do it. And I had to make a decision. I had some very good generals, and
we
not the ones you
fracking.
see on television, very good. And I want to thank also Pete Hegseth and General Raisin Kane, who's phenomenal. Okay, these guys are phenomenal. They can't be better. But I had some good generals, and I said to him, well, if Israel's not going to do it.
Oh, we fracking, baby. We fracking. I think we're fracking.
Do it. We're all prepared. Do we do it? Do you like doing it or not? He said, sure. If you want to do it, we can do it. How well? We'll do it just as well or better. Do it ourselves. We don't need anybody. So we took out Soleimani. One of the biggest events to happen in the Middle East, maybe ever, but they say 50 years, they say 100 years. I was with the Prime Minister of Pakistan. He said it's maybe the biggest event that has ever taken place in Islam. Nobody could believe it. So that's when it started. It didn't start like 3 or 4 or 5 weeks ago. And Obama wouldn't do it. What Obama did was he did the JCPOA. He loaded up a plane with $1.7 billion in green cash from banks all over Washington, Maryland, and Virginia. They were stripped of all their cash. They had no cash to do payrolls. It all went into a Boeing 757, a wonderful plane, and they flew it to Iran. And they gave it out to people. They bribed people. They thought they were going to get it done. Then they gave billions and billions of dollars after that. And they got a deal that was a road to a nuclear weapon. I get so angry, I guess. I'm allowed to get angry when I watch the Democrats.
I'm allowed to get angry.
They talk about it all the time. We had this deal done. You had a deal that was going to give them, legally, a nuclear weapon. And if that happened, Israel would have been blown away. And in all fairness to Bibi Netanyahu, who happens to be a good man, gets a little excited sometimes. But he happens to be a very good man. We've had an amazing partnership. He's been an amazing prime minister. We have a little dispute over Lebanon. I say, you can do a little softer touch, Bibi. You don't have to knock down a building every time somebody walks into it that's from Hezbollah. But it's been an amazing partnership. But he will say, we're the big partner, and he's the very small partner, and that's true. So he came to the country, and he begged Barack Hussein Obama, the president, not to do the JCPOA. He said it could be the end of Israel, and it would have been if I didn't come along. And Obama didn't listen to him. Bibi actually went to Congress and pleaded with them, and he got nowhere. And they had this horrible deal that was horrible for Israel, and that's where it stood. And then I came along and I terminated that deal. It had very little time left. You know, it was a short-term deal. You know, with countries, you need hundreds of years. You don't need 8 years and 9 years. This isn't like you're signing a lease on a candy store in the corner. You need hundreds of years. This was a short-term lease. It expired long ago. Had I let it run, it expired. You wouldn't have been around. A lot of people wouldn't have been around. But Israel would have been terminated. I think the whole Middle East would have been terminated. You saw that when everybody was shocked that all these missiles, they were aimed at these different places. Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE. Think of it. Bahrain, Kuwait. They got hit. Nobody thought that was, even I didn't think it was going to happen. They didn't think it was going to happen. They were going to take out the entire Middle East, including Israel. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they would have used it within moments after getting it. So I made it very tough for them when I terminated the Barack Hussein Obama catastrophe. JCPOA, one of the worst deals. NAFTA might have been worse, but that was worse economically. This deal was really dangerous, what he did. He gave them everything, including a lot of money, which we don't give them, by the way, just in case you have any question. We'll be giving this out so you can read it and you can see. And it's a memorandum of understanding. If it doesn't get done in 60 days.
It doesn't say anywhere in the memorandum of understanding that we're giving them any money. So Freddie's a liar. Maryland's a liar. Y'all watching some retards.
It's all right. We go back to bombing. You know, I don't want to do that because it's so good. But we might have to because we're never going to let them have a nuclear weapon. But they've agreed not to, and you'll see that very clearly in the agreement. But then the second phase of that was they were building, or they were enriching material, as they say. I call it nuclear dust. They were enriching material under granite mountains. Granite being, for those not in the construction business, granite being a very strong, the strongest stone.
It's not true. It's the third hardest stone.
It's not as pretty as marble, but it's much stronger.
Granite's prettier than marble. I used to do granite countertops. The granite is the good shit. Marble is cheap and brittle compared to granite. Granite's better than marble. And granite comes in a lot of different pretty styles. They got granite with seashells in it. So, no. Granite is prettier than marble. And granite is not the hardest stone. The hardest stone is diamond. Granite is the third hardest.
It's a lot stronger. Like the new granite I put on the stairs of the White House going to the Oval Office, the black granite, it's rated 1 million years plus. No marble's rated that. Marble's rated 100 years if it's outside. So these are granite mountains. and the B-2s came along, and they hit those air shafts in the dark at 1 o'clock in the morning with no moon. They had a beam going right up everywhere. Those
He's talking about bombing a granite mountain, and somehow he got onto the new stairs at the White House. Million-year stairs, guys.
guys did a job, and then they were criticized by certain members of the press, like CNN, for possibly not doing that much damage. And it turned out that the damage was far greater. Those mountains collapsed right on top of everything. Nobody's going to get that for a long time unless we want to get it. We'll get it. But we're the only ones that can. And they say China has the equipment to get it, and we have the equipment to get it. And it's actually not valuable. Not a lot of value, but we'd like to get it psychologically, but nobody's touching it. We also have cameras. That's what Space Force is. We have the greatest military in the world, by the way. But I'm proud of Space Force because I started it. We have Space Force cameras on every single door, well, there are no doors. They've been pretty well shattered, but every area of that, if somebody walks in and he's got a badge with his name on it, like Mohammed something, which is about a 50-50 guess, Mohammed something, they can tell the name, they can give you a serial number, we can see things you wouldn't believe the quality of the stuff that we have. That's why we've been so...
Yeah, we've got satellites that can zoom in on Muhammad's name tag and see his retina and do I don't know if we can do a retinal scan from space yet, but maybe.
Successful. That's why our blockade will go down in the annals of history as being unbelievable. Nobody's ever seen a blockade like that. It's like a steel wall. So what happened is we then terminated that, and I call it the nuclear dust, and that was the end of that. But if we didn't hit that with the B-2 bombers, or if it wasn't successful...
You're retarded, Marilyn.
They would have had a nuclear weapon, a nuclear bomb, at a very high level. Not the highest, but it would have been a very high level. We have much bigger, but we hope that we're never going to have to use it. We have the most. Russia has second. China is very far behind, but going to catch up, unfortunately. You know, they're catching up, but we have the most. We have the most powerful, but we also have the most. But Russia's not far behind. And then you have China in third place, but within 5 years, they'll be probably even. And we ought to make a denuclearization deal. It would be so great. We don't need all of that. We don't need to be able to blow up the whole world 300 times over. It's terrible. It's really, if we could do a denuke deal, I'd love it. And one of those two is very willing to do it, I will tell you. But the other one is less willing to do it. And you need all of them. So the deal we reached with Iran on Sunday will be signed shortly, tomorrow, maybe the next day. Subject deals. My whole life is all about deals. That's all I ever did is make deals. And crazy things happen with deals. I've gone into deals where it's a guarantee. No way it can not be signed. And it doesn't get signed. And I've gone into deals that you have no chance of making, and they go like nothing. But we're going to most likely sign a deal. They want to sign a deal. And they've been acting very appropriately. They took a big 2 hits last week. Those were 2 very big hits. So importantly, Iran has agreed that they will neither produce nor procure a nuclear weapon. Neither produce, because originally they said...
Oh, my God.
That they will not develop...
The moon photos are from the 60s. What the...
...develop a nuclear weapon. And some people found it okay. These guys didn't, in all fairness. But some people... But I didn't like it. Said it won't develop. I said, what happens if they should buy? I don't know. It's very dangerous for somebody to sell, because whoever sells them a nuclear weapon will get nuked themselves. If they sold a nuclear weapon, only a few that could do it, they would be nuked. They wouldn't have that country long. So it's a very
oh my
dangerous
God.
thing for somebody
If you sell Iran a nuclear weapon, you won't have your country for long.
to do. But I wanted it in there. So it's develop, procure, buy, anything. And you'll see that when you see the agreement, but it's appropriate that we release the agreement. And we did send a copy to Israel, by the way. They've been a good partner. Again, I think they could do better with respect to Hezbollah. I'm not saying they shouldn't protect themselves. I'm saying when 2 drones are shot into the desert and drop harmlessly. You don't have to knock down buildings in Beirut. They could behave better. And frankly, they could do a better job. I love them as a partner. They were terrific. But they could do a much better job with Hezbollah. On that, I don't think they're doing well. And I feel very bad for Lebanon. Lebanon's been, you know, it was a great culture. They had the professors, the doctors, the lawyers. It was an incredible culture, maybe the highest in the Middle East for years and years, centuries. And for the last 50, 60 years, they have been just trashed. They have been living in hell. So they'll work closely with us to turn over the so-called enriched material that's very deep in the bowels of the earth. Very deep.
The bowels of the earth.
It's not important that we do it quickly, but we could do it fairly quickly. When we have a chance, we'll do it. But in the meantime, we have cameras on every inch of it. Nobody can do it. And if they do, we'll hit them with Patriots, that's all. And they'll be gone. And they know that.
And they'll be gone.
Discussions on the removal of all stockpiles of enriched materials will begin immediately. We're going to start that immediately. And unlike Barack Hussein Obama, who sent Iran pallets of cash and any relief they receive under this deal, they'll have to get based on merit. And it won't be from us. We don't have to give them anything. But some people may want to invest. Like, what are you going to do? Say you can never, ever invest in a country? I mean, it's pretty tough. I don't mind being tough, but it's pretty crazy. You can invest in a country. You can invest in any country you want, but you can't invest there. Well, they need investment because we did $1.5 trillion, maybe $2 trillion worth of.
What do you mean? How convenient is that? Lebanon is a finger of Iran. It's a bunch of PLO and Hezbollah terrorists who hate Israel. Iran uses Lebanon as its border state to Israel because Iran doesn't border Israel, but Lebanon does. Lebanon is ran by Iran. So, of course, Israel wants to keep Lebanon off their borders. Same way as if we had, if Mexico got taken over by Chinese people and we had a bunch of Chinese people who wanted to kill us on our border, we would probably do something about it.
Damage. So somebody's going to have to help them out. There's no guarantee about helping them out. And could be their neighbors will help them out a little bit. I don't know. But it's a lot of money. Almost nobody has that kind of money. That's the kind of damage that was done. But we're not investing any money. There was a fake story. There was a fake news story that got a person, a good person. JD made a statement. It was a perfect statement. And they reported it in a very strange way. But that's why it's fake news, I guess.
Because that's all that these people read.
Don't give them any of that. And
the Freddies of the world, all they read is the fake news.
If they be
and then they gobble it all up.
The reasonable citizen of the world. And I think this group, again, I didn't do this for regime change, but I think this group is regime change. I mean, hey, the first group is dead. One little morning, having breakfast, the whole group, they thought they'd never be caught because we never bombed during breakfast, but we bombed.
We never bombed during breakfast, but we bombed during breakfast that day.
And I'm not proud of that at all. But the second group came in and they were very unreasonable too. And they were all gone. They were all gone. And then the third group we've been dealing with.
We got them during lunch.
A couple left this planet, but
a couple of them left this planet.
They've been fine.
Meaning we blew them off the face of the earth.
Easier. I've had some easier ones. They're tough. They're smart. Strait of Hormuz has already increased very substantially, and the normal flow of energy will resume in the coming days, and trillions of dollars will be made by the world, and the stock market will, I believe, continue to rise. The only difference is that a player that's very volatile, very tough, very smart, frankly, they have, in one way, a primitive culture, but it's also a genius primitive culture. They're very smart people.
No, that's a little bit too generous there.
So rather than...
Is he talking about Iran and Lebanon? No.
Rather than having your favorite
They're not very smart people.
Herbert Hoover, I was always the one I didn't want to be. I wouldn't have preferred Nixon. I wouldn't have preferred, there are plenty I wouldn't prefer, but the one I always thought of, Herbert Hoover, and he caused it. He raised taxes too fast, and he raised interest rates too fast, all at the same time. And it caused the Great Depression. So I don't think I'll make mistakes like that. I lower taxes, I don't raise taxes. In fact, we just gave you the largest tax decrease, largest tax cut in the history of our country. So we'll be working on a parallel effort with the Gulf nations to address non-nuclear issues, such as the conventional ballistic missiles, which we'll be talking about, and support. I mean, they have to have some because other people have some. You got to have some. Somebody said, you shouldn't give them one. I mean, I have guys, I like some of these guys, but I don't think they're smart. Sir, you shouldn't let them have any missile. I said, well, what am I going to do? Am I going to let Saudi Arabia have missiles, but they can't have them? Yes, sir. Doesn't work that way, you know? It doesn't work that way. And missiles aren't the problem.
I mean, ideally, that would be nice. Their weapons, their missile stockpile, and their drone stockpile, and their sea mine stockpiles was getting a little too big, okay? I'm glad you've reduced it, what, 50%, Trump? But, you know, we don't need to give them more.
Problem. Missiles they hurt a little location, but they don't blow up the planet. So the Gulf nations will address the non-nuclear issues. As we'll be talking about the ballistic missiles, and we'll talk also about the terrorist proxies that they have. That we don't want that to happen. But I want to thank our partners in both Pakistan and Qatar. These people work so hard. And they knew them a little bit. In the case of Pakistan, quite well. In the case of Qatar, they were sort of at odds. And, you know, Qatar was great because they had right next door. When I flew from there, from that location to Saudi Arabia, I'd fly for 40 minutes, and I'd fly to UAE for 40 minutes, to great leaders there, by the way. In the case of Saudi Arabia, the father's still alive, and he's fantastic, and the son is going to be great. He's going to be great. The Crown Prince and Mohammed at UAE is an incredible warrior. He was dropping bombs. Last week I said, who the hell's dropping all those bombs? It was UAE. He's a good fighter, Mohammed. But every administration for decades has sought to get Iran to relinquish its nuclear ambitions, but the threat only got bigger. The words got bigger and bigger and stronger and bigger, and nothing ever happened. And Iran got stronger and tougher. If we didn't blow them up the first time and then blow out those weapons, they would have been unstoppable. This should have done, what I'm doing and what I did, should have been done years ago. Would have been much easier, much less firepower, but it wasn't. And again, I want to thank all those countries, and I want to thank Israel and Bibi Netanyahu. So obviously the breakthrough would not have been possible without the unprecedented pressure the United States put on the regime over the...
All right, this is long. I got like 30 minutes. We're not going to watch all this. Low energy Trump speech. Very, what's the word I'm looking for? Snobby audience? No, it's not snobby audience. Stuffy audience.
Oh my God.
Deadly F3. I don't call it an EF3. I just call it an F3. I'm old school. F3 tornado tears through Illinois town. I think we saw this already.
That is a real tornado.
Yeah.
It's getting bigger. It's ground now. It's on ground. It just went over our head. We've got trees everywhere.
Yeah, y'all are gonna die.
Not that tree.
Dude, you're standing under a bunch of trees. Y'all are gonna die.
Got trees all down in my backyard. Proud of my trampoline though.
That trampoline's about to smack you in the face.
There's at least 3 of them down, 4 of them down. Holy hell.
Yeah, no shit. That's a real tornado.
This is insane. I can't tell if I can see it on the camera or not. I hope everybody's safe. Yeah, that's huge. He's so stupid. I just survived a tornado.
Neighbors say they're good over there?
Yeah, they're good.
You guys lose any trees?
No, just us. All of our trees. All of our trees are down. It went right over our house. My Jeep's good though. My tarp didn't last. Got a lot of trees in our backyard down.
Look, now it's all sunny.
Of course, none of the dead ones.
Oh, that would have been some shit.
This is in Illinois?
Yeah, it was us. Oh, neighbor got one that got pulled all the way to the middle of his front yard. The road's completely blocked.
There it is. There's more further back too.
Cut it up. We're gonna cut it up. We're gonna cut up that tree. Get it out of the road. Explosive new video evidence released in Carmelo Anthony. Oh, yeah, I watched some of those videos. I don't care. The case is over. I'm done with it. Why are we still talking about this? Complete shock after surviving tornado that ripped through their home.
What in the world just happened?
Why did OBS just disconnect? What the heck? OBS just disconnected. Are we back? We had a tornado here last week. I would be chasing that thing. But if I was this guy and the tornado's over the house, I'd be in a closet. I wouldn't be walking around, bro. It's like a tornado outside. Wait. Okay, I think there's a cut there. And so it's not like it cuts, but and then you see it's picking it up and it cuts.
Oh my gosh. What in the world just happened? Am I good?
Holy shit. Could you imagine you're just sitting there watching TV one day and then half of your house is just gone? Your house is just gone and you're in it.
Jesus. Oh my gosh. What in the world just happened? What in the world just happened? Well, this was insane. I mean, I feel alright. I got scraped up. That was insane. The whole house that I'm living in just scraped up. Oh, my car's tore up.
This dude is so like chill. I'll just smoking a blunt.
Whole house is tore up.
Holy shit. Your house is gone, bro.
Oh, I need to get back under there.
Back under where? A log? You're just gonna hide a board? You're gonna lay under a random board?
Get sober.
Did you say I gotta get sober? Yeah, you're sober now.
This was
Oh, it's over. It's over.
biggest sign yet. What in the world just happened? I think I'm good. It doesn't seem like my head's bleeding at all. The Lord saved me. I was pleading for Jesus as I was just going through that. The Lord saved me. My grandpa was just on the phone with me, and I'm glad he didn't hear what just happened, because I was freaking out. I thought I could die. I definitely could have died. Did you not just see my house? I don't even know what to do right now.
I don't know. Maybe like call 911 or something. Right now, the whole house is gone. I'm guessing there's like one section of the roof that is still kind of leaned and standing. So he's sitting under that to stay out of the weather, but it's still windy and that's not stable. Could you imagine it collapses now? Get out of there. Go somewhere. Call somebody.
Oh my goodness. Please, Lord, just keep me safe. Please, Lord, just let this storm be over.
And then as it passes, the sun's going to come out and he's going to be like, you see what God just did to me, man? You see what God just did to us, man? Parents ditch baby on hot Florida beach? No. What is this explosion? It's a firework. Oh, it's a fireworks stand. Huge explosions rock Oklahoma neighborhood after fireworks stand fire. Yo, early 4th of July, boy. Look at that.
Like it's low-grade explosives, you can for sure just kind of burn them.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh my gosh.
Shut up.
Alex, I want to get out of here.
All right.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I mean, is everybody rock Oklahoma neighborhood? Did they just let it burn? Everybody's parked watching a free fireworks show. That's crazy. Oh, it's a loop. What are you looping it for, New York Post? What the? Anyway. What time is it? Strongest tornado in history. Tornado killing 2 in Jefferson County, Illinois, rated F3. Killed 2 people.
Storm is a storm and it comes rolling through a lot. And you just never expect that this one's the one. Ever.
First at 6, a new reality so many are living through tonight. Parts of Illinois are disaster zones from Sunday's outbreak of severe weather, and we are now learning just how powerful one of those tornadoes was. First here at 6, the latest in Jefferson County, Illinois, 80 miles east of St. Louis. 2 people are dead. Both lived in rural areas north of Mount Vernon. 3 homes were leveled, 2 of those belonging to the victims. We now know the storm was an EF3, packing winds between 136 to 165 miles an hour. This is one of the victims from the storm. Dolores Shelton, better known as Bunny, was 83. She lived in her home for more than 50 years. She leaves behind many children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. Tonight, I'm learning about the heroic actions from a neighbor trying to
R.I.P. Dolores.
Save Bunny's life. Along this rural Jefferson County, Illinois road, the devastation is hard to take in. Trees.
I wonder if homeboy, if 3 houses were destroyed, then his house is one of them. And if they maybe are all in the same area, maybe he's. Why did they add the damn E? I don't know. It's Fujita scale, but then we looked into this before once. Why they switched it from F to EF.
Shredded, debris scattered, and cars smashed, including this
remember.
red truck belonging to Rodney Gas. When you see the...
I still call it F, because F is for the Fujita scale, and that's what we were taught in school. And then they changed it.
Amount of destruction, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. It's amazing what it can do because of just seconds. Just probably 5 seconds, and the house was there, and then it was completely gone.
Gas lives down the road from Dolores Bonnie Shelton. The 83-year-old grandmother is one of 2 people in Jefferson County, Illinois, who lost their lives during Sunday's EF3 tornado. As Gas...
They always do that. They always change stuff that I learned in school. Like, when I was in school, we were taught there were 4 oceans. Indian, Atlantic, Arctic, and Pacific. But now, I think they teach kids that there's 5 oceans. And they I think a chunk of the Pacific they call like the North Indian or the East Asian Ocean or I forget what they call it. But there's a 5th ocean now. Oh, it's in the enhanced Fujita scale. It's E for enhanced.
And others in the small town of Texaco work to clean up the tornado's destruction. He's also thinking about his brush with death, trying to save his neighbor Dolores.
And we pulled up here pulled in the driveway and pulled up in the yard towards the door, and was gonna get out, and my wife and my son with me, they was in the back seat, and they said it's too late, and I backed up, gonna try to get going, and the trees started hitting us and turned us couple times around.
When you were inside your truck and it was spinning around, did you think maybe it was over for you and your family?
Oh yeah, yeah. I figured it was going to pick us up. It picked that slab of concrete up over there on the front porch.
I don't see any injuries. I mean, that's just amazing. It's remarkable that you were right in the middle of it and you have no injuries.
Stiff neck, tree hit, but yeah.
Jefferson County Sheriff Jeff Bullard says 5 people injured in the tornado had to be taken to the hospital and says this is the first fatal tornado in his county in a long time.
And when you see the pure devastation of what can happen on tornadoes like this, and that a lot of times they can come up with little to no warning, it makes you really want to continue to educate the public on the best ways to keep themselves safe.
Dolores did not have a safe place to go during the storm. Rodney says he doesn't have a storm shelter at his home either.
This make you rethink about getting something so your family's safe?
I've been going to bury, I've got a 1,000-gallon tank, and I've been going to bury it. I think I'm going to bury it now.
And Sheriff Bullard tells me early estimates there's between 15 and 20 structures that sustained damage in the tornado. Again, 3 homes were destroyed. Let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton now, and you heard both of
Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. All right, guys. I'm going to head out. I got to get going to work. This has been the Dreaded Conservative Show. Monday night, kicking the week off right. The world's a crazy place. I just report on it. If you like it, tell a friend. If you hate it, tell everyone.
You ain't got the answers, man. I've been doing this more than you. You ain't been doing the education.
Yeah. 5 oceans: Pacific, Atlantic, Indian, Southern, and Arctic. So they added the Southern Ocean. That was not how it was when I was in school. There were 4 oceans. But anyway, God bless, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Let me see if there's somebody I can raid you to. They added a dang ocean. They removed a planet. They changed the freaking tornado scale. It's ridiculous. Crystal Strange. We'll go to Crystal Strange, even though I think he's about to end. But thank you guys for hanging out. God bless. I got to get out of here. We out. Peace.